on the highway. God is the one that's giving polio to his little children and making his senators die with heart attacks. That's the work of God. Those are blessings from God. That's the reward that God has given him for the evil that he has done. That's a wicked race. And God is making his children be born today, deformed, demented, or dead. That's from God. That's what God did to Pharaoh. When Pharaoh wouldn't treat those people right, and Pharaoh wasn't stopped by those other plagues, God began to strike the firstborn. God began to knock off his children. God began to devils lose their children. And when they saw their own little babies dying, and their senators dying, and their congressmen dying, and their former presidents dying, and their big shots falling out, then they knew that there was a God trying to separate those people from that wicked slave master. And it's just as it was in those days, it's the same way today. It isn't you who's after the white man. God is after the white man. It isn't communists that's after the white man. God is after the white man. God doesn't love ugly, and there's nothing on this earth uglier than that blue-eyed, stringy-haired, bad-smelling race of devils. Made your plight better or worse. Let's look at it. When you tried to integrate the white community in search of better housing, the white people there fled to the suburbs. And the community that you thought would be integrated soon deteriorated into another all-black slum. What happened to the liberal whites? Why did they flee? You thought they were your friends. And why did the neighborhood deteriorate only after you moved in? Tricky real estate agents, posing as white liberals, encouraged you to force your way into white communities. And then they were the ones who sold you these integrated houses at such high prices that you again were forced to take in roomers in order to offset your high house note. This creates in the new area the same overcrowded conditions, and the new community soon deteriorates into the same slum conditions from which you thought you had escaped. This is a cycle that we go in, and the only one who has benefited is the white real estate agent who poses as your friend, who poses as a white liberal, who sold you a house in a white community that he knew was destined to become nothing but a high-priced slum. Today our people can see that integrated housing has not solved our problems. At best it was only a temporary solution, one in which only the wealthy, hand-picked Negroes found temporary benefit. And after the 1954 Supreme Court desegregation decision, the same thing happened when you tried to integrate the white schools. All the white students disappeared into the suburbs, and the caliber of what you thought was an integrated school soon fell to the same level as the slum school from which you thought you had escaped. Just as efforts to integrate housing failed miserably, efforts to integrate schools have been an even more miserable failure. Having failed to get integrated housing and integrated schools, now the Negro leaders are demanding integrated jobs, which means they are demanding a certain quota or percentage of white people's jobs. What will this lead to? First, the Negro leadership demanded the white man's house, and the whites vacated their rundown houses for us and built new homes for themselves out in the suburbs. Then the Negro leadership demanded seats for our children in the white man's schools. The whites evacuated the schools as our children moved in, and they built modern schools for themselves out in the suburbs. But now the Negro leadership is demanding the white man's job. Can the whites vacate their jobs like they vacated their homes and their schools? Not without violence and bloodshed. The same white liberals who used to praise you for your patient, nonviolent approach have now become openly impatient and violent themselves in defense of their own jobs. Not only in the South, but also in the North, right here in New York City. While they were busting heads out in Brooklyn. They were busting heads out in Long Island. They were busting heads up in the Bronx. White teenagers came out in sheets. Ku Klux Klan, not in Georgia, but right up there, not down south, but down in the Bronx. White teenagers came out there burning crosses to let you know that this white man here is no different from that white man down there. White Nazis, not in Germany, right here in New York City, up there burning crosses. Had a carload of guns ready to come at you like they came at the Jews over in Germany. And when they caught those Nazis, they found that one of them was a Jew. And that Jew running around here talking about Nazis, and some of them are nothing but Nazis themselves. You didn't hear them blow that up in the newspaper, did you? No, they tried to quiet it down. Why, when you find Jews who are Nazis, you really found something. That I think you can find a whole lot of them who are Nazis. Always running around here trying to make you get sympathetic for them. The Jew is a master at that. Make you shed crocodile tears over what happened to him in Germany. You tell him what happened to you right here. You haven't got no time to cry no tears for no Jews. Cry tears for yourself. Let him solve his problem and you solve your problem. Why, they only killed 6 million Jews. Only 6 million Jews were killed by Hitler. Uncle Sam killed 100 million black people, bringing them here. Yeah, 100 million. 100 million. Don't let no Jew get up in your face and make you cry for him. Ask him what happened with his forefathers when our forefathers were being brought over here as slaves. 100 million black people were taken from Africa. And when the Civil War was over, there weren't 6 million black people in America. There weren't 20 million black people in the Western Hemisphere. What happened to 80 million? Where did they go? Where did they disappear? Why, that dog dropped them in the water and worked them to death. He murdered them. He butchered them. He mutilated them. I mean 80 million of your and my forefathers. And you think that God is going to forgive him for that? No. You might be dumb enough to forgive him for it, but God won't forgive him for it. That's why God is after him. 80 million black people, dead, murdered. And these Jews got the audacity to run around here and want you to cry for them. Let them go cry for themselves. Tell them if they're interested in your problem, that you have some of these stores. Instead of opening stores up all in your neighborhood and robbing your deaf, dumb, and blind. Yes, the Jews do that. And some of them blue-eyed Jews are going to walk away from here and say that I'm saying something anti-Semitic. Anti-hell. Right here in Harlem who run these whiskey stores that get you drunk. It is Jews that run these old run-down stores that sell you bad food. It is Jews who control the economy of Harlem and use it for themselves and for the benefit of Israel. And got dumb enough to walk around here some NAACP or CORE and think we're going to be blind to what they're doing to us. No, someone better pull their coat. Someone better pull their coat before you start pulling some heads.